As well. I'm Russ Rollins, along with Carlos, Angel, Ryan Holmes, and Angelique, and we have a special guest with us today, a buddy that we've kind of been following for the past month or so. Julio's on the line with us. Julio the EMT. How you doing, Julio?
I'm living the dream. Doing good. Thank you.
Hey, what up, man? You figured it out. I appreciate you zooming with us. It makes it more fun so we can see your face and all that kind of stuff. For those that don't,
challenged, so this was pretty hard.
I know, I know, and it was difficult. But I'm glad you figured it out and got on there. And so for those that don't know, Julio, probably it was the beginning of April, right? Like when did you go to New York, Julio?
The 28th of March.
March. Okay, so you went the 28th of March, and from then to this week, you were up in the epicenter. I mean, really for the entire world is where the most cases of COVID-19 were at, and you were in the middle of it at the Bronx Zoo, is where you kind of was your headquarters, right?
Yes, sir. For most of the time.
Yeah, for most of the time. And, of course, you're an EMT here in Orlando. You went up to New York to help out, and you were there for an entire month. So the last we talked to you, you were extremely busy. When did you get home?
I got home Tuesday night.
Tuesday night. So while you were there the last week or so, because we haven't talked to you since then, what could you tell there was a decrease in the amount of people that were, that were coming up positive with COVID-19?
They really didn't tell us. I mean, we watched the daily news, and that gave us the counts. But the number of 911 calls did go down significantly. The first night we were there was 7,000 calls, down to 4,000 calls the day we left.
Wow. So when 7,000 to 4,000, and 4,000 is still a lot, right? What's the normal amount of calls that they would get?
2,500.
Wow.
According to Chief Escobar for NYFD.
Yeah. So, Julio, while you were there, primarily you were taking, and you correct me if I'm wrong, but from what I understand, you were taking people that had tested positive for COVID-19 from their homes or from where they are at and transporting them to the hospital. Is that what your main job was?
Mostly when we ran 911, that's what we did. When we ran what they called IFT, which is inter-facilities, we would take them like the USS Comfort to the convention center where they had a step-down hospital where they were feeling better or didn't need that critical care.
Yeah. And how often did you get tested for COVID-19? I mean, you're back now. I mean, did they test you before you left? Like, do you go through a lot of testing?
We have never been tested.
What?
Not once.
So they didn't test you, and then you were around people with COVID-19. So do you have to self isolate? Like what is it? What is it you have to do?
From what I understand from the policy is if we show any symptoms, then we have to self quarantine and get tested.
Doesn't that go against the whole thing of asymptomatic people? And I mean, it's bizarre the differences of regulation and guidelines. I would think that you'd be a person that would get tested immediately and several times over, not a pug in Oregon or a cat in the Bronx Zoo, that they would be testing the heroes that were out there. And that's pretty shocking, to be honest.
I don't understand the system. I just have to go with it, but I agree.
Huh. And then, so as you're there, I mean, what are some of the precautions that you would take to make sure you didn't get? Do you believe that you contracted it? Do you think you did or not?
Some moments, with the breathing, yes, and then some no. It's just like, am I overreacting or am I really having this breathing thing? But as far as protection, I would use my PPE mask, which was an N95 that was fitted for me. And also, you notice that sleeve that I have in the picture, I would wear that also just to, stop any particles whatsoever, even though we were told we weren't allowed to wear those, but they said it did work for extra protection, like double protection.
Huh. And then, I mean, obviously, you were pretty big on washing your hands and all that kind of stuff. I mean,
all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. Coming out of the hospital, going in the hospital. Of course, we had abundance amount of gloves. The PPEs, they were, short on them, so we had to use them the whole day. We couldn't. You're supposed to use them after, throw them away after every patient, but we couldn't afford that luxury.
Yeah. Julio on the line with us right now. He's an EMT that was in New York City for pretty much the entire month of April 2020. Well, you'll never forget this month in your life, will you?
Oh, never, ever, ever. You know, didn't get any better when I got home, though.
Well, I'm going to tell that story in a minute, but you know, I was just watching the news and they were talking about, you know, they're still having 300 deaths a day in New York City. With what you were doing, did you come across a lot of that? Like, do you know how many people you transported didn't make it? Are you aware of that, or after you transport them, you probably don't get a chance to keep up with them, do you?
No, we don't. We're not allowed to follow up. That's HIPAA violation. But I know there was a lot of calls we went to that people were already dead when we got to their apartment and entered their door.
Really?
Yeah, they were. That's what we call the DOA, dead on arrival. And then we would just have to wait and turn the body over to the police department.
How many of those do you think you went to, Julio?
I think we got about 10.
Wow.
10. That's still, you know. Now, okay. So now that that you're back, I want to talk about what happened. But does it? I mean, you've been an EMT paramedic for such a long time now. Do you get used to dealing with the sickness and the death? So maybe you don't have nightmares, or do you still? Because I know they talked about PTSD and how it's going to be an issue. There was a surgeon just recently that made news for helping so many people, and then she committed suicide. And there are reports saying they feel like this is going to be a trend after what happened in New York. How are you feeling about the time you spent there?
Well, like the death part about it, you know, you think you get used to it because, you know, down here you get one of those, like, or maybe two of those a year and stuff like that and everything. But it's like every cardiac arrest we went to, every single one was unsuccessful.
Mm.
Yeah.
I mean, so, you know, that kind of sticks with you. And then in the week we were leaving, 23-year-old boy who just graduated from EMT school, his last name was Mandello for New York Fire Department. He took his own life, and he had just graduated from EMT school.
Man. Carlos, question for Julio, who is an EMT, went to New York City for a month, and is back now. You got a question for him?
Yeah, that story is heartbreaking of Mandello. That's horrible. But I did have a question for you, Julio. It seems like you got a banner back there. They're celebrating you, which you should be celebrated. I think that's fantastic. But
Thank you.
Self-quarantining? Are you isolating yourself? Because, I mean, we know that the asymptomatic, you could just be a very strong, healthy immune system that has it in you, and you may be passing it on, and I would hate for that to happen. And if you are you able to get a test quickly if you wanted to, or is this something that hasn't even been offered to you? Right? You can answer those however you want.
The truthful answer, I don't know. I'll have to call my job and find out if there's testing available for us and what's the procedure to go get one, because, you know, I have to follow procedures.
And,
Sure.
And so
And the self-quarantining?
Yeah. Me, my cat, my dog, and Christina.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's,
all right.
He's
Cool.
at home. So here's what happens, right? So Julio leaves from Orlando. He's an EMT, goes to New York City, and is there for an entire month helping out, right? You get home, and Julio, I'll let you tell them what you were faced with when you got home.
Well, to start, my house was damaged by Hurricane Irma, and I've been doing everything I can to repair it. So when I get home, Christina tells me I have the mail. You know, I have mail here, so I open up my mail, and the first thing is a letter from an attorney for the HOA or the co-op that I live in, that they're evicting me by the end of the month.
What?
Yeah.
Yes, because they asked me to repair my carport. I repaired my carport. I built it by myself. I think I did a pretty good job. And I didn't know you couldn't use wood after spending 3 days building it. And so it has to be made out of metal. I did need a permit because of it's a continuation, so I didn't need one. And they said that's not good and stuff like that. And then a few days later, I was deployed, and then during the month of deployment, they sent me letters. Since I didn't respond, they're calling it non-compliance.
And you're being evicted from your home.
Yes, and they're going to destroy my home.
They're
What?
gonna tear the
Hold
whole
on, why are
thing-
they going to? Yeah, why are they going to destroy your home? This seems like a deeper, like deep-seated issue of them. Are they selling that property, that area in general?
No, it's just that they can rent it out to somebody else. So what they'll do is put a new house on the lot, which, believe it or not, FEMA has offered me a new home for free, but the co-op won't sign off on the paper. It's all a bunch of legal mumbo jumbo. All they have to do is check one box on this one piece of paper and sign their name, and FEMA will give me a brand new home with no charge. I qualified because my house has more than $30,000 worth of damage. If you look behind me up on the ceiling, that's a drainage system. So when it rains, I can drain the water out the window and it doesn't leak into the house.
Yeah, so
Dude.
here's this guy
My
who is
God.
helping people. I mean, seriously, like he's got the kindest heart. He's helping people all the time, and he can't find anyone to help him. And when he gets home, they're going to evict him from his house. So
I thought they couldn't evict people until like the end of May. Am I wrong on that? Like
That would be the end. That would be the end of May.
But this is the end of April, right? Oh,
Well,
okay.
next month, yeah. But do you have an attorney, Julio? Do you have an attorney on this? Because this seems like something.
No, most attorneys,
Yeah.
they charge like $100 to read each page. And there's like 37 pages to go through and stuff like that. And, like a $5,000 retainer. And I don't have money like that. I just put all of the money I had into the roof, but we're still living under black mold.
And Julio, the people asking the question. So you went up to New York City and worked for an entire month there. Did you get hazard pay? Did you get paid extra? Like what kind of pay do you get when you go to New York City and work to help out there?
FEMA did up our pay from our normal pay here. I'm sorry.
No, it's all right, dude.
They did pay us extra for going up there.
Yeah.
I'm so
but
sorry.
just so you know, he's not telling. He got paid extra. It's not that much. It's not like it's. You would think that heroes like this, people that are helping, that are dealing with death, that are dealing with and putting his own health at risk. You would think they'd get paid really, really well. It's not that great. And as you see, I mean, Julio's not a crazy. I spend money all the time gambling. Like he's just a guy that goes home, works, and goes home, and he can't even get his roof fixed. And now they're going to evict him, and I think it's horrible. I hope there's someone listening that can help you.
Yeah, I mean, Julio, I know Russ and I and know several lawyers, and I know several lawyers, and I will contact my friends who are lawyers because this shouldn't happen. This is ridiculous. This is BS. I would curse up a storm right now. There's a difference between somebody being reckless and not wanting to pay, but the fact is that you deserve to keep your home. You actually deserve a new home to be living under black mold and doing what you do. So I'll make some calls. I know Russ is going to make some calls, and we'll see what we can do.
I'll be honest, man.
The co-op won't even accept my payments for the rent and stuff like that for the lot fees. It's an over 50 community, and they won't accept my payments. They keep starting them back.
Why?
They won't talk to us. They says you can't talk to us. You need to talk to the lawyer now.
Well, I'm going to reach out to Jeff Kaufman, who is our lawyer that we love to death, and see if I can get him to help you. I know that there's got to be someone that can help you with your roof, Julio. And I know you've been dealing with this since, what was it? Hurricane? Which one?
Irma. I fished a carport when Irma came, and then this tropical storm Michael came, and a hurricane hit it and took it away.
Yeah. Don't let this get you down, Julio.
I try not to, but it's just sometimes too much, man.
I don't blame you, man.
And
I don't
it's a
blame
lot
you.
to come back from where you were and then be slapped in the face with this. Like, this is a lot. I am so sorry.
We're gonna do what we can to help you, Julio.
Thank you.
I know, and obviously, you hear about guys like Julio who are helping, and they come back and they have to deal with something like this, and we don't want you having any bad thoughts. We want you, being healthy so you can still help more people. So we're going to put a shout out to an attorney that we know that we love to death. And then if there's anyone out there that can help him with his roof, man, I know I've put a call before, and I know you didn't get the help you needed, and I apologize about that. But we'll see if we can help you. Look, if it sounds like if you get the right paperwork, you could have a new home. Is that correct?
Right.
He has it. The place where they won't sign off on it.
there's 8 steps you have to go through, and the last step is the co-op signing that paper. But they want me to sign a paper saying that if they sign the paper, the FEMA has to have it done in 45 days or else.
You need to call the news and put this on. I hate to say stuff like that, but seriously,
I tried calling the news. Yeah. I called all 4 stations.
Well, you're lucky. You've called the fake news, and we're here to help. Man,
and listen, I'm sure there's someone that wants to help a good immigrant like my friend Julio.
Stop saying that. Stop.
You know, he's a man that came to this country. That came to this country to change the world. From Buffalo, all the way from Buffalo.
To be fair, Buffalo is a very different country.
Oh my God!
God, it just sucks. So Julio he's in New York City helping for like a month. Gets home and the first thing he gets when he gets home is an eviction notice. That's just.
Dude, homeowners associations and these things that run these kind of communities, the level of power that they have is absolutely insane and needs to be curbed. Like, I've had a similar problem where I also built an awning on the side of my house. Everything was fine. They came in. They told me I had to tear the whole thing down, thousands of dollars. Just gone, and if not, they were going to put liens on my house and do all this stuff. I could have been evicted from my own house that I paid a mortgage on. It's nuts what they can do to you, man.
Now, so you repaired the thing they needed repaired, right, Julio? But it just you did it in wood, and it was supposed to be in metal. Is that the big complaint?
Yes. Yes. And I just wanted to repair it to buy me time so I could get my new home and get them off my back.
Right.
And the lady, all she said was just fix the carport. I'm like, okay.
And you fixed the carport, and then it just wasn't good enough.
Actually, it looks really good.
Does it?
Yeah. I sent Russ some pictures.
Yeah, send me some pictures.
I will do.
All right, send me some pictures, Julio.
Well, I'm messaging some of my news friends. I'm gonna message Russ and I will talk so we don't overlap some of the lawyers that we know. But take a little breather here. Remember, always stuff like this, Julio. Like, they're not gonna take it today. Take your time to decompress. You've just been through a lot of trauma. You've just seen things that people would see in their nightmares, and it's okay to be emotional right now. But there's gonna be some help on the way, and we appreciate your service. And today, just decompress a little bit, watch some funny movies, listen to the Monsters, and cheer on Buffalo. Think of that they won the Super Bowl, okay? Like, imagine they won the Super Bowl. Okay?
What a dream.
Hey, Julio, let me ask you a question. This is a serious question. What do you think about the Miami Dolphins?
Yeah, what do you think of the Miami Dolphins?
Well, how do I personally feel about it, or how do I think they did in the draft?
No. How do you personally feel about the Miami Dolphins?
Suck.
They're the stinky fins, right?
Yeah. Squish the fish, baby. Squish the fish.
All right, buddy. Listen, I appreciate you calling. I appreciate you zooming. Hopefully we can help you out, okay?
Thank you.
All right, brother.
I
take care.
I love you guys. Thank you for everything you do. God bless.
All right, buddy.
Hey, Julio, stay on hold. Julio, do me a favor. Stay on hold for a second on the phone.
Stay on hold, okay, because he needs to talk to you off the air, okay?
You got it.
Okay, all right. I didn't want. I knew that story beforehand. I didn't want to tell you guys until he got on the air with us. But
that pisses me off, man.
Yeah, my man was up there doing the Lord's work, doing good work, for a month, and he gets home, and that's the first thing he's slapped with is you're being evicted. And there's just some things that just aren't right. And I don't care if he built the wrong shed or whatever it is. I mean, this has to be able to be fixed. And I know that we're gonna see what we can do. But
I don't know why you have to be a soulless vampire to run an HOA, but it seems like those are the only people that do it.
Yeah. So we'll see if we can make some connections and help Julio out.